You and I need to have a quick chat about Bitcoin, and we need to discuss what could happen and maybe a quick broader overview of the markets. Let's dive in. We're going to pull up TradingView. And this is really a precautionary tale of what could happen. Doesn't mean that it has to, but it's something that's worth planning for. First and foremost, Bitcoin has been in a bear trend since it closed below the 100 simple moving average on the weekly chart, which is January of this year. And right now, really since June, we've been hovering over and around the 200 simple on the weekly chart. The reason it's red is because it's a big stop sign. This is a warning sign. Bitcoin cannot fail this price because if it does, it will go lower. Now, that doesn't generally mean that it's going to drag the entire markets down or anything of that nature, but there are some stocks that are pretty closely tied to Bitcoin, and a lot of people out there own Bitcoin. So I just want to share with you what could happen and what my thesis is, because there will be some stocks that will be affected as well. So first and foremost, looking at Bitcoin, we are really, very, very much at a precipitous location. Like that word. This is an extremely rare pattern that I cannot find many cases of recently on Bitcoin. This is a candlestick pattern called a tweezer bottom, which is a bear candle followed by a bull candle. And the lows have to be the exact same. And this is on a weekly chart. So think about how much money is required to stop Bitcoin at the same price twice. It's a lot. Now, are the lows identical? 209.81 and 210.14. So we're talking about a 30-cent variance. That is close enough for me on a $60,000 asset. So this is a tweezer bottom. This candle that we're getting right now is an inside week candle. Inside week, meaning it's fully within the previous week. The bad problem is the trend is already bearish on Bitcoin. The pressure is already extremely high from the supply side. And if Bitcoin in the next 3 to 4 days closes like a daily close, meaning at like 7 p.m. Eastern, Bitcoin closes below really 62,000. I have a likely feeling that everything is going to go lower on Bitcoin. It's a very, very strong level. Now, how much lower is it going to go? Sure, it gets to go back to 59,000 and then we're back off to the races. But then we're going to be below the 200. So it would trade up to the 200 and then kind of fail the 200 again. And it'll just continue to be a little bit of a weaker asset. That's a very, very big problem if you are a long-term holder of Bitcoin and you want it to go up now, because it's not going to happen. Sure, 24 months, 36 months, possibly, absolutely. But before that happens, we're going to need to reclaim some really strong key levels and some key moving average support. This has been a very strong resistance here at 66,000. You can see the lower high, and people could even argue that this is a head and shoulders pattern. So yes, this is all technical speak here, but it's a very, very real issue. Monthly chart. Now, granted, August still only halfway through, but we're in an inside month. We're below all moving averages, 10, 20, 50 on the monthly. We're below the 10, 20, 50 on the weekly, and we're below the 10, 20, 50 on the daily. All trends are pointing to lower. This part is about Ripple. If you like Ripple, why? Everything you heard about it is not accurate. It's not correct. You're going to have to trust me on this one. And hey, why should I trust you? Who are you? I've been telling people not to actively long-term invest into Ripple really forever. Now, granted, did I miss this incredible move here and this incredible move here and this incredible move here? I did. I missed those. I made no money on Ripple because Ripple is a horrific idea of a cryptocurrency. It goes against everything that crypto was designed for. And if you're like, oh, it's an intermediary liquidity pool for banks, that means you're supporting banking, which is the antithesis, the exact opposite of why crypto was created. Crypto, regardless, I'm gonna go down a tangent. If you support Ripple, that's fine. You're welcome to do whatever you want. You're just wrong. It's not a big deal. It's okay to be wrong. But if Bitcoin goes lower, I promise you, Ripple will go lower. It's going to happen. In fact, it'll probably go lower than 60 cents. Now, can you actively trade it? Can you buy some and sell some and sell some and buy some? Sure. But right now, it's very, very hard to make good purchases on Ripple and sell them higher because this is in a perma downtrend. Now, you might say, well, Newsome, if it gets all the way down to 50 cents, I'm just going to buy it and it's going to go up to $3 again. Sure, that's very possible. That could happen. It's happened 2 times in the past. Is it going to happen again? Maybe. But what is very important in all investing theses is time frame. How long is that going to take? And the answer is it's going to take a lot longer than you anticipate, because all the people that you've been listening to that have been shelling you Ripple and trying to feed you the lie that the Clarity Act is actually going to do something and that it's going to have any valuation or any type of actual real utility, they are factually 100% incorrect. Now, let's go look at Ethereum, Solana, and then some stocks. So Ethereum is also below the 100 and 200 weekly, but it is at the 100 monthly moving average. We on Ethereum need to bounce here. Am I buying some? Yes, I am buying Ethereum and I am buying Bitcoin, but very slowly. I'm not buying aggressive. I'm in purely accumulation mode. Accumulation mode means if I make $1,000 from this, $500 from this, $20 from this, I'm taking some of that money and some of that capital and buying these assets as a savings account, a long-term 3, 5, 6-year play just to have some exposure into crypto. But stocks right now are the hottest commodity. And that is because, well, Trump's in office and he rug pulled all of you, right? Do you guys remember the Trump coin, or is it just me? Do we remember when Trump launched the Trump coin and did the largest insider trading transaction in human history and defrauded the entire American public, or is that just me? Whatever. We're here now. And yes, I get it that we need to bounce. My favorite price to buy Ethereum is 1776. So sure, I'll buy some when it gets back down there again, but just know that I'm fully aware and I'm not extremely bullish on it, that it can go lower. We can easily go back down to 1400. And then if 1400 breaks, 1000, 800, it's all possible. So I just need you to know that there is a big warning sign out there with crypto. Last but not least, in the crypto space is Solana, SLLUSD. And it too is forming a very, very interesting pennant pattern. So there needs to be some news. There needs to be some macro. There needs to be something very, very soon that comes out bullish. Otherwise, they will continue to slip slowly. And whatever time horizon you want to be, if you want a fast, amazing rip move on crypto, I do not believe you're going to get it anytime soon. My beliefs. So how does that translate to stocks? Really, there's only 2 or 3 stocks that are going to be massively affected if Bitcoin continues to go down, and maybe even 4. I'm going to start with 2 of the obvious, MicroStrategy. So MicroStrategy, I am selling calls on MicroStrategy. I don't want to, but I'm selling calls up here on some of my positions. I only have 900 shares right now of MicroStrategy. I've been slowly accumulating, buying more shares with covered call prices. And this covered call is below my cost basis. It is all the way up to October. And my thesis is if it does actually bounce up into here, it'll fail eventually anyway, and then I'll just be able to sell another one, maybe, most likely. Now, the only positive thesis on MicroStrategy is it's at the 100 monthly moving average, but it has been absolutely decimated over the last year, being down 80%. So if it's going to be down 80%, might as well go down 90%, which is going to be at $51. Can that happen? I need you to know the answer is yes, especially if Bitcoin goes lower. So if you have MicroStrategy, like I do, you're going to want to protect yourself. You're going to want to sell some calls, buy some puts, and at least be aware and be cognizant that this can go lower. It is possible. I don't want you to think it's not. That's MicroStrategy. Now, how can we make really good capital from this is going to be Coinbase. You see, Coinbase is facing incredible macro pressure right now because there's so many other institutions that allow you to now buy cryptocurrencies. Coinbase used to be the only thing in town. I still have a Coinbase account that is still what I use personally to buy and accumulate long-term crypto. I also use Robinhood to do that, but Coinbase is no longer the only game in town. And again, I'm not saying they're done for. I'm not saying they're going to be decimated. What I am simply saying is if Bitcoin goes lower, one of their main assets on their balance sheet is Coinbase, is Bitcoin. That's their main balance sheet holding. So don't tell me the technical analysis doesn't work, right? Perfect resistance, perfect all-time high, perfect price and place to sell. Then you got the double top. And now what we have is a very, 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 very good support, and extremely good support on the monthly chart with absolutely nothing below it. So if Coinbase starts breaking the support, it's already below the 200, it's already below the 100 on the weekly chart. Here's your support level. And we have an inside week, another inside week. That's 2 inside weeks in a row. crypto needs a very big macroeconomic news to come out in the next 2 weeks. Otherwise, it probably slowly continues to die and fall off of a cliff. I don't know what that macro news is going to be, but it definitely will not be the Clarity Act. I'm sorry, you guys got sold a lie. Their earnings, not disastrously terrible, but here's the opportunity that I see it, right? Remember, like I say in all my videos, opportunity never goes away. It only switches places. If this breaks, I do personally plan on putting a pretty sizable short position, AKA shorting stocks, or I'll personally be buying some puts on Coinbase. Here's the consolidation. So what I'm going to wait for is some type of close below the support. I'll get into some puts. If it retests, I'll buy a lot more, and then I'll expect it to slowly go down. The expiration on my puts will probably be in November, and these are going to be like 150 puts. That can be a very financially rewarding position if Coinbase and Bitcoin continues to drop, which that is the trend, and that's what it looks like right now. There's a lot of pressure brewing. All the information that's going to come out has come out, and if, I think this is just my take, if the markets that are at all-time highs have any type of actual real pullback that doesn't last, it could help Coinbase, which is a stock, go lower. It could help other selling pressure come in. I don't think that we have a big drop on the broader markets. In fact, I think this is in red, probably your worst case scenario. On my last video that came out, I said, hey, be bullish above this candle, and congratulations. I hope you're all just absolutely printing fat stacks of cash. But really at this particular point, that's just kind of what I see. I think this is most likely worst case scenario on the broader markets, right? The SPY has made new all-time highs. At this point, it can easily recover, retest this resistance level at some point, pull back into here. And again, that's a dip buying opportunity. But for whatever reason, if there's a bigger avalanche of some kind, then that's going to put bigger pressure on Coinbase and other stocks. Now, Webull could, and when I say could, I mean less than 2%, but it could be the catalyst if they come out with the most remarkable earnings of all time. Please know that I have used Webull. I have asked and put in petitions and did votes and all the things I can do to, as a large shareholder of Webull, get the CEO out and become CEO to actually run this company profitably, and create a really good presence and make it a much, much better trading platform. The user interface and the user experience and the trading functionality on Webull is ass. So on earnings, when it comes out, if something amazing happens next week and we just start ripping higher, cool. I think that'd be dope. And that could really help the crypto markets if some amazing, awesome thing happens, but it's a 2% or less likelihood of occurring. Most likely they're going to do relatively okay earnings, and we're going to kind of just keep slowly chopping around. And then again, maybe ultimately pressing higher. The much, much better crypto platform that's in that space is Robinhood. And I love Robinhood's break above the 200. I personally think that Robinhood will kind of get stuck in here for a little bit, but ultimately will go higher. Just my personal opinion, of course. I love that it bounced off the 100. I did buy a ginormous chunk of shares here at the 100 simple moving average at about $86 on Robinhood on the 31st of July. And now we're having this nice little push. By the way, this is when we were in Croatia. So if anybody was like, hey, should I ever join, Jerremy Newsome for a Money Grows on Trees event? The answer is yes, always, because I do my absolute best to provide real-time tangible value in all of my events. Great spot to buy. I mean, even if you bought there and sold there, you're up 12%. Good for you. A lot of people still own their Robinhood, probably sold some covered calls like I did yesterday, locked in some profits or protected yourself. But the weekly chart still looks pretty good. The 100 still looks pretty good. Yes, I do agree that this is a lower high. Don't love that, but this is also a higher low. So I'm fine with Robinhood to kind of keep chopping in here for wherever and then eventually breaking out. Their earnings were great, last earnings. But if Bitcoin really does get slaughtered, like it looks like it could, I mean, we're talking like 60% chance here. Robinhood will be impacted negatively. Webull most likely will be impacted negatively. Coinbase almost for sure, and MicroStrategy almost for sure. But those are opportunities if you know how to make money when the markets go down. That's me. That's my thesis. That's just my gift to you. Hopefully this is helpful, beneficial in some way or some capacity. Thanks so much for watching. You rock. And I'll be out with the next big, broader market update in about 2 weeks or so. When I get back from the 29029 Everesting Challenge I'll be doing in Whistler, Canada in just a couple of weeks with a couple of my coaching clients, some friends, some awesome people, and some amazing ridiculous ultra athletes. All right, family, you rock.